Hello guys, Josh here and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to share my thoughts on The Last of Us 2. I want to pretty much jump on the bandwagon and share my thoughts of the game because, you know, there's a lot of people hating on it, a lot of people liking the game. So I just want to give my opinions on why I liked it and why I didn't like it. So let's get into the first point, which is why I like the game. So obviously the graphics, in my opinion, are probably one of the best, if not the best graphics in a game ever, which I've seen so far. Was the graphics are just insane. Like if you just play the game, like in the just in the wild, you can see like amazing scenery, which is just cool to see in a game. You know, it looks so realistic. As well as the gameplay. The gameplay, you know, as you can imagine, was way better than Last of Us 1, which I thought was already quite decent. You know, it's a bit slow sometimes, a bit clunky, but it was still quite decent. Which I thought with Last of Us 2 was a lot more fluid. You know, like everything ran well and everything. Especially with a new dodge feature right there, it just makes close range fights a lot easier in some aspects. So the gameplay and the graphics are probably one of my two biggest points of why I really enjoyed this game. As well as the story. The story was alright, I guess. But before I get into the story, I do want to mention why people didn't like the game. Some people just went like on an outrageous little run of hating on the game just because there's a gay couple in Ellie and Dina, which people just said, you know, I don't like it because there's two gay people in it, and also a transgender character as well, which kind of a stupid reason just to hate a game, in my opinion. You know, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't really want to just ramble on about that. I just think it's a stupid reason why to hate a game. So it's just kind of a stupid reason to hate the game, personally. Also, another reason why people hated the game was because Joel's death was leaked before the game came out, which I didn't see any of the leaks. I thought Joel would die in the second game, but then at the same time I didn't, because in the trailer it's the scene where Ellie asks, "What are you doing here?" and then Joel replies, "I wasn't going to let you do so alone," which in the trailer was Joel's voice, but in the actual game it was Jesse, which kind of threw a curveball because I was waiting for just the Joel pop up, like not be dead. You know, like when I heard that trailer I was like, you know, Joel might be dead here. But at the start of the game when Joel did die, and then I heard like, "What are you doing here?" from Ellie, I was like, Joel is back, the hero is back himself. But it was Jesse this time, so you know, it was like, what? But yeah, anyways, back to the storyline. Storyline was good, but I didn't really like the way it was laid out. It was basically laid out, it was Ellie first. Well, no, it was started off with Abby, and then it was to Ellie, then back to Abby. Personally, I think it should have started with Abby, done all of her section first, and then went to Ellie. I think that would have probably been a lot better. Basically just showed off all of Seattle day 1 to 3 with Abby, then go back and then start from Ellie, back from Seattle day 1, whatever. Because I don't know, some like halfway through the game, like at the end of Ellie's storyline, I thought this game is surely about to be finished soon. But then it basically stopped climaxing and then completely stopped dead in its tracks, and then changed to Abby again, which I didn't really like that well personally, but I guess it is what it is. I can't really change anything about that. But again, personally, I would rather just have Abby's full storyline first, then to Ellie, and then finish the game that way. But also, I do want to quickly mention, I do respect Naughty Dog for planning the game and finishing it the way that they wanted to, because you know, like, it would cause a bit of a mixed reception when the game come out, which yeah, I do respect them for. Like, it's not just a game that will always please the audience, like a fan service, if you will. Like, it's not always gonna please them. Like, it's the way that they wanted the game to come out, which they did. But the fans hating on it, so it's, you know. But you know, it is what it is. Also, I do want to quickly mention, in the last game, Ellie's biggest fear was actually ending up alone, which the whole story of Last of Us 2 was revenge. So she started like off the first journey with Dina for revenge, and then eventually, once they almost killed Abby, well, almost got killed, shall I say, by Abby, you know, Dina gave birth, that their own house. Then Tommy came back and pretty much persuaded Ellie to go back after Abby, because at the in the theatre, Tommy asked if that was okay, well, Abby being alive, and Ellie says it'll have to do, which she basically settled that point in time, that she had basically not forgiven Abby, but let it go. Then Tommy came with a map, then started, you know, causing a fuss, if you will, saying that it's a joke for not filling out a promise to Tommy to get revenge. And since Tommy was absolutely banged up, he couldn't go, which it's kind of messed up, you know. But Ellie did end up giving in, and then she went full known that when she comes back, that Dina might not be waiting for her. But that's the chance she took, just to go for revenge. And the game pretty much splits you in two minds here, for Abby, because basically when Abby first kills Joel, like in the first hour of the game, everyone's like, fuck Abby, they've killed the best player, well, one of the main characters, shall I say, in the game, in not even a good way. Like, fair enough if Joel died saving Ellie, saving Tommy, like saving somebody, but instead he goes out getting beaten to death by a golf club by Abby. Like, personally, that was a bit lazy for them. That's my opinion on the death of Joel. But it is what it is. Again, I do respect them for going down the way that they wanted to make the game, which they've done. But I do want to quickly say something. This isn't my my output on this. I read this before I started recording. Basically, Naughty Dog was pretty much had two intentions. The first intention was obviously you're finishing the game, and if the player felt unsatisfied for not killing Abby, even after you walked a mile in her shoes, then you've beaten the game with your controller. But the bit what's like caught my eye was the over impact of the game, and it says, but you've lost the game which Naughty Dog was playing with your soul. I kind of get, because like the whole storyline is going for revenge, and if you're willing to forgive Abby and let Joel go, which you'll see quite soon actually, she says, just take him. And the flashback right now you're seeing is the real, like the little click inside the head, which is like, if I kill Abby, it's not going to do anything for Joel. You know, like if I'm willing to let Joel go, I'm going to have to let Abby go, which is the realization, which I personally think that happened at the last second before Abby drowned. They just take him. So with that little flashback before just take him, that implies to me that she's willing to let Joel go and forgive Abby, but at the same time not forgive Abby, like just move on with her life with Dina. It's kind of a weird one, you know. I do get the point of this article where it's coming from about the soul and everything, but yeah, all in all, I enjoyed the game. The storyline was, in my opinion, good, just the wrong way around in a mixed order. So the main bit that I wanted to speak on was, should there be a Last of Us 3 or any DLC for this game? So for starters, there's supposed to be a multiplayer coming out within the next few months, so hopefully by the time the PS5 comes out it should be its own standalone game or a DLC for Last of Us 2. But I think they should have it in the same way as Modern Warfare and Warzone. So Warzone's free, but the main game costs money, which I think they should do it this way. But DLC wise, it all depends on what you do with the actual DLC itself. Because in Santa Barbara, there's a note in Ellie's journal saying that she barely made it from Jackson to Santa Barbara. I think she went through California or something like that. I can't remember exactly where, but she barely made out alive. So maybe that could be the DLC, going through California or wherever it was, going through like, heaps of infected, maybe bring out a new infected type. I'm not really too sure what they can do with that just yet, but you know, it is what it is. But it has a little to do with the actual game, but its own little like side storyline as well, if you know what I mean. Pretty much like Left Behind in the first game. But if they don't make a DLC, then I think that they should make a Last of Us Part 3 just to make the fans happy with the game. Because the first game was sick and most people who actually played it loved it, but the second game was mixed opinions. So I think the third game should go back to its roots and make the fans happy as well as finishing the storyline completely. Because the second game was just a plot about getting revenge for the whole game. But if that was a normal story instead of like a feelings based game, then that could, you know, make the fans happy again. Just go back to Last of Us 1 days, just follow that storyline, well not the storyline, the actual plot for it. I think that should be good. But if they do make a Last of Us 3, just my thoughts on the game real quick. I think they should start it after Ellie leaves her house. Like it ends, like Last of Us 2 ends off Ellie walking out of a field, well, out of like a backyard, I think. Either way, she walks away from her own house. No one has no idea where she's gone, but I think she's going back to Jackson. So maybe she goes to see if Dina's still alive. And eventually, I think the group from Santa Barbara, like who puts people into like labour camps and whatever, should come and actually attack Jackson, have a full war, and potentially kill Tommy. that could cause mixed opinions, just like the Joel situation, killing like a pretty big character in the game quite early on, but you know, don't maybe have the attack until quite late in the game or halfway through the game or something. I don't know. But then maybe bring back Lev and Abby. You know, since they had them tied up, had them on the brink of death pretty much, but not exactly going for revenge against them. Like, you know, switch it up. Don't go for like the revenge plot again. Just go as a normal like a normal game. But have them team up with Ellie, which I think could potentially finish off the game completely. You know, as well as getting fans to actually like the characters again. But multiplayer is coming out hopefully by the end of the year. So do let me know your thoughts. I'm kind of curious on what you guys think of the story, and I want to know your opinions on bringing back multiplayer and my idea of the DLC All Last of Us Part 3. So you know, just let me know in the comments. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please do smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.